Folks, Jack Minden now here. Let me introduce you to the latest member of our family. And this is Haru. Introducing himself to the cats.
Haru.
Haru. Hey.
Haru. Hello. Sit.
Hey, welcome home.
Dah.
All the cats are very interested in him. We haven't done the introduction with Heidi yet, so that'll be interesting to say the least. She gone now?
Hello.
She left?
Yeah. She's leaving.
You're gonna get tired. Well, we know what he does when he sees a cat. We don't know what he does when he catches a cat. The other one, the one above him don't seem to care. He don't seem to see her.
Hello.
Hey. That was an introduction.
Okay, enough na. Enough na, my love. Ikaw ras to, day? Wala, ay, layo naman. Ah, pati yung anak, dalawa na. Ganina po, tiyaba po siya. Suko na kayo siya. Suko. Yaway ka? Yaway ka? La. Naghanap na. What's that? What's that, Haru? Oh, Haru? Wow.
Well, visiting Blackie. What's up, Blackie? Huh?
Just check. Do you wanna check also?
I know where he's gonna check.
Huh?
I know where he's gonna check. Introductions are being made.
Ganahan na ba na maligong tubig lang? La. Ibuhat kayo. Ano yun?
Well, there you go, guys. That's the new member of the family. I'm sure he'll fit right along here. He's one of the ones that visited about a week ago, right after the house blessing. So we made it back from Dumaguete and Siquijor yesterday at about, I want to say about 2 o'clock, between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. But our morning started at, we made it, we started traveling to the ferry at 1 o'clock in the morning for a 2 o'clock ferry, the Fast Cat, which we actually got on the correct ferry this time, which was good. that ferry is, let me just say this. Scheduled departure 2 o'clock, and we left at a pretty decent time. We left at 2:15. So 10-15 minutes, that's not bad. And then it's supposed to be arrival at 5:30 into Dumaguete. Come here. That didn't happen. What was supposed to be a 3.5-hour ferry turned into a 4.5-hour ferry. We got there at about 5:30. Again, that's a lot better than the ferry Evaristo and Sons to Dumaguete. Let me just give you some. What? Come here. Come here.
Come here, come here.
Who are you looking for?
Come, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Come. Inside. Get inside. Hello.
Honey, let him go. Just let him. He'll be all right. He'll learn a lesson from the cats real quick. So then we got to Dumaguete, and then a trike drive, less than 5 minutes down to the main road so we could catch a bus. A couple buses came by. They were regular buses. One was AC, but it was a regular bus. Then we got on the bus, and we had Mr. Horntutor, and it took us. It must be in his contract to stop and smell the roses or something every 10 minutes. Because for every 10 minutes he was stopping, and it wasn't stopping alongside, well, he was stopping alongside the road as well, but he was pulling into the regular rural transit bus stops every 5-10 minutes, and then staying there 5-10 minutes. And then he stayed at another one for like 25 minutes. Then he had to stop at his own house that was along the route. Like I said, it took us 4.5 hours on a bus to get to Ozama City. And we stayed on the bus until it crossed the ferry over to the Mucus port, where we were going to get on another bus from there. But then we got to the ferry port, and then everything was backed up. You know, we didn't think, we had a couple ferries pass by before we could load on any of them. And so we were probably at the ferry for 45 minutes to an hour. Then we get on the ferry, and it took them like 30 minutes to load because there was 3 buses on the ferry we were on, and they all had to back into the ferry instead of driving straight onto the ferry. Why, I have no idea. And then we cross over. So we cross over, like I said, 4.5 hours just to get to the ferry on the slowest bus route possible. And this guy's just tooting his horn the entire way. It was like he had a tune on there. Just going all the way there. So freaking annoying. Every bus he passed, every sorry store he passed, every Canderia that he passed, he had to hoot on like he knows everybody along the route. And then he stops at his house for 15-20 minutes. His own house. Gets out there and you see him, he gets off the bus, goes in the house. I don't know if he took a crap or whatever, but he's sitting there talking to his family for 15-20 minutes. We're sitting there going, what the hell is going on here? This is his house. So finally gets back on, and then, like I said, 4.5 hours to get to the ferry. Then we get to the other side of the ferry, the Mucus port, and they unload half of the vehicles on the ferry, and then they stop at when we're supposed to get off, because they got some kind of problem where I guess they couldn't unload the buses based on where they were parked. So I don't know, we got a crisis over here with the dog. I don't know what it is. What's going on, honey? He's not getting along with the cats? Huh? New dog problem, guys. But anyway, so here we are at the other side of the ferry, and so they unloaded all the passengers, unloaded all the vehicles they could get off. It stops at us. We're on there with basically three buses and a couple trucks. So then they start loading the other ferry that's trying to leave Mucus Port to go over to Ozamas. And guys, they do this every day, all day. You would think they have seen every imaginable mode of buses and cars on a ferry that you would ever see in all your life. You think they know everything. So then they're loading the other ferry. They load it with all their vehicles and passengers, and then they move the ferry like 20 feet, 30 feet to the right. Then we back out. We back over into pretty much the middle of where the two ferry spots were before we could unload our three buses and get off of there. And like I said, there's, you know, each bus has 30, 40 packs on each one. So it was absolutely insane. So it took us, I want to say, an hour and 15 minutes to get off of the ferry at the port of Mucus. And then the ferries were so backed up at the time. Trucks were waiting in line from loading onto the ferry all the way out to the main road, and even, you know, and down from there. I've never seen the ferry so backed up, and they do this every day, all day, guys. And this Panguil Bridge will relieve all this pressure when that opens, and it's supposed to be ready beginning or around the July 4th weekend. Yeah, I know they don't celebrate July 4th here, but anyway, that weekend they're supposed to be open. Whether they do it, we're talking already delays of, it was supposed to open in December. It was supposed to open July of last year. Everything's been pushed back. Oh, of course, because of the pandemic, you know, whatever valid excuse they'll use at the time. Anyway, like I said, then we get to the bus station where we got off at the Mucus bus station. Then we get off there. Everything seems to be all right, and then they had a non-AC bus sitting there, and you know, with us and our bags, I was like, no, there's a trike here. Ask them how much they want. And the guy quoted us the price of 400 pesos to drive from Mucus down to Miranding. So I was just like, yeah, let's do that. It's, what's that, $10 with tip? Yeah, we'll do that instead. A little slower, but we actually passed a non-AC bus like 5 times because they were stopping every 5 minutes. So after an hour, like I said, and then we got home. It was, I want to say between 2 and 3. I didn't time it when we actually got back. Frustrating day with all the gear we packed. Like I said, we took off with 2 backpacks and a couple other, 3 full-size backpacks, a couple of little knapsacks, carry sacks, and another bag. It's probably 40, 50 pounds total. And I know we brought back 80 to 100 pounds back with us, so. Saying it again, honey. Travel light. I doubt if we even used half of the stuff that we packed out and took up there. But that's always the case. We need to learn to be better backpackers now that we're here full time. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, reason we went up there, food. Sorry guys, and for those that live there, and we were only there for a few days, I don't see the attraction of Dumaguete. I just don't. The restaurants aren't that great. And you know, next time we travel there, they got a ferry from Siquijor, or not from Siquijor, but from Dipolog straight to Siquijor and bypassing Dumaguete, and that's what we're going to do. We'll stay on Siquijor for a week. We only began 2 days there. We only explored a little bit of the island, some of the main tourist spots there. Ran across some good people there. No reason at all to go back to Dumaguete. They have one Robinson's Mall. I mean, you can drive to Ozamas, an hour away, to see that. Food, I thought there'd be a really good Western food up there, but we stopped at, the first night we were there, we ate at La Mensa. Good restaurant. The food was good. It was expensive though. At house wine, I bought a bottle of house wine. That was $1,300. I remember how much it cost for the drinks. Imagine that. 1,300 pesos for a house bottle of wine. Which is, yeah, I'm sorry, that's just expensive. Like I said, that was the cheapest one. But the food was good, really good. It was a good first night. Of course, Jara wanted to have her fried chicken and rice. Can't get them out of that when we travel. I don't understand it. Gotta have fried chicken and rice. So next morning we went to Casablanca, had breakfast there. Again, not really impressed with the food at that place either. In fact, we weren't impressed with the food at all at any of the places we went to. So I decided to go to Siquijor, that very second day. And of course, the second day we were there, we didn't do much. Went to the old church. Stopped by a restaurant for snacks, and stayed at the pool area. Reason we did that because Miss Universe Philippines was on that night, and they had to watch that for 8 hours. I want to say 8 hours, but it was probably 4 hour long show. Well, I tried to catch up on some sleep. And of course, they got Jollibee takeout, so they got their fried chicken and rice, and they had it for the morning when we got on the ferry, or went to the port to get on the ferry. Like I said, pretty good. It was good to leave Dumaguete. I'll just say that. I know many expats love it there and stay there. It's a good. I'll put it this way. For me, is a good starting point to get to good places in the Philippines. I don't see any. We didn't get down to Bacong. We didn't get down to Darwin. We weren't there long enough. Like I said, we went straight over to Siquijor, and that's where we'll go probably the next time, and we'll stay there for a week to try to see that entire area. Initially, we were impressed with the hotel over there, but then that went downhill rather quickly when they didn't have the amenities in the room. They didn't have, the breakfast was a nightmare the next day. We should have just gotten soaked when we were going to leave to go to a good place for breakfast. I didn't see anything on Siquijor that for good food either. It was funny. I met an expat British guy. Right, not even an expat. He wasn't living there. He was visiting the Philippines, Bali, I think he said, Vietnam, Thailand, and the Philippines, and he had been there for a couple weeks already. Not in the Dumaguete, but met him. He was sitting next to him on the ferry over to Siquijor. Real nice guy. He asked, we got to talk, and I told him where we lived in Mindanao and everything, and I told him we came up to Dumaguete because we wanted to get some good food. First comment out of his mouth, "You think this is good food?" So yeah, he hit the nail on the head there, and I was like, You haven't lived in the province. You'll understand what is good food and what is not good food. Like I said, I wasn't truly impressed with the restaurants that we ate in, but they were all right. So we came back from the ferry from Siquijor, and we were going to stay there the very last night. I think my overall impression, it's an okay place. I don't see any attraction for living there. Let me tell you, we had several incidents where we almost lost gear there. Several incidents. In Starbucks, Lynn gave Jara one of the bags, and she almost left that in there when we were leaving. And thank you if the guy ever watches, expat ever watches this video, thank you for posting or pointing that out to me while we were leaving. Really appreciate that. Don't know how long it would have stayed there before. Hey guys, I'm back. Had to conduct a battery change on the GoPro. So going back to how the trip was. Like I said, I'll give it an overall. It was really good. It was good to get out of the province. Traveling is a nightmare, as always here. Always frustrating, especially these buses. I don't know why can't you have scheduled bus stops instead of stopping every time you see a passenger alongside the road, or dropping them off alongside the road. It just drives you crazy. Like I said, Mr. Tudorhorn, the entire 4.5 hours from the port down to Ozama City, we're in the port. Buses are coming off of the ferry, and we're waiting to load on the ferry. He's got to start with the toot 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 for every bus that came off of that ferry, or the two ferries that we were waiting for. It's just incredible. Why do you have to do that, guy? You're annoying the hell out of us. But it's it. Each their own. That's travel here. That was a bad thing, you know, because of course we're coming back. If it was up to me, we would have stayed an additional couple of days, and like I said, that's why we're gonna go. When we go back, it'll be to Siquijor, and we'll stay there for a week to see everything. One thing about they got a lot of waterfalls, but they got a lot of stairs to get down there and back up. It was funny, we were at the one waterfall place. You'll see it in the video. I don't even know how to pronounce it, and I'm not even going to try. 135 steps, that's the only thing I remember about the waterfalls. The only thing I care to remember, because I had to come back up. And coming back up, there was a group of over 200 people on a trip from Dumaguete to there, and they only have a railing on one side of the stairs. Of course, I'm 65 years old. I need the rails to get back up, and they need the rails to get down, because it's all people in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I don't know what was prompting them to want to go down there and see the falls, because they had to come back up again. All 200 of them. So stuck on the stairs for about an hour while they were going downstairs. And like I said, going back to what we almost lost a bag at the Starbucks. Then, you know, we were prone to leaving a bag on a trike, which we had to yell down a couple times just to stop the trike so we could pick up the bag. We got to the waterfalls, and I left. I'll take the blame for this one. I left my phone in the camera mount for the directions. I left that in there when we went down to the falls. Didn't realize it until we were there for about an hour, hour and a half. Then the light bulb came on. When I was looking for the phone because I wanted to start doing some shorts, because you can't do them on the GoPro. And I'm looking for the bag all over the place. Can't find it. I'm like, oh shit! Did we leave it on the motorcycle? Did we leave it on the scooter? So we sent Jared back up there to get it if it was still on the motorcycle, and that's when I started up the hill as well. And then 15 minutes later, she got up. It was still there on the scooter for over an hour and a half unattended. That's lucky to me, because I don't think it would have. In Japan, it would have stayed there, no problem. It would have been there for 12, 15 hours by itself until some expat or U.S. citizen saw it there and took it, because it would never be stolen by a Japanese person. So we were real lucky with that one. We got the phone back. Then, like I said, then we left bags at a couple places. So then we always, you know, wherever we were leaving a place, I always did a checklist. Got everything, got everything, got everything. Yep. So like I said, the food, not what I was hoping for overall, but it was good. Siquijor, we ate at a place in the San Juan area that night, Republica. You see in the video, we for lunch we ate at the beach we were at. Food, and I had a hamburger there. Local beef burger, what they called it. Yeah, not good, folks. Hamburgers here are hit and miss, that's for sure. In fact, I think the dogs that were sitting next to the table were luckier than me, because they got most of it. Just couldn't eat it. And like I said, we ate at Republica. Stopped at a couple restaurants, or a couple hotels. Cliffside Resort or something like that. Resort Cliffside. We stopped there. All they had was breakfast at 8 o'clock at night. So, like I said, and that's another thing too. If you're going to Siquijor, eat early. I know from our time in Germany, most restaurants are just really opening it up at 8 o'clock in the evening, but everything on Siquijor was closing down at 8 o'clock. I can understand that. There's not much nightlife. We didn't see any. We don't participate in that anyway. But when we got back from Siquijor, that there was the restaurant and the bar that was across from the condo. What was it? Cafe Racer. That place at 1 o'clock in the morning was packed. I mean, seriously packed. And they had a live band. That it looked like they had a live band, and you know, they were jamming out at 1 o'clock in the morning. So evidently there's some nightlife in Dumaguete, but we didn't run into any at Siquijor. Like I said, if I recommend anything at all, and I don't give dating advice, I don't give traveling advice, I don't give advice here. I just show you what we deal with in our lives. But if I'll give any advice at all, if you're going to Siquijor, rent your own scooter, guys. Don't fall for the tourist traps and the tour guides and all that other crap. They're gonna just show you the same thing that we saw on the scooter, you know, and charge you an arm and a leg for showing you, oh, there's an old tree. Okay, there's an old tree. And it was funny. I tried to load it, but I couldn't find it. As soon as we got to the Dumaguete tree, Lynn had her purse with her, and she walked over to the pond where the fish eat your feet. she stepped on the side, to put her feet in there, and she fell flat into the pond with her purse, all of her phones, everything was in the purse. She had 3 phones on her. She went right in. I was like, that ruined the trip to the tree as soon as we got there. That was funny. No damage though. None of the phones were seriously damaged in the attempt, which of course that was the big thing we were worried about. But hey, phones are replaceable unless they're stolen, and all your information is stolen. So we really lucked out there and opened our eyes to some of the things to avoid on any of the future trips. But yeah, it was a good trip. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Will I do it again this month? I don't think so. I think the next time, before we go anywhere, we're going to wait for that Panguil Bridge to open so we can avoid that mucus ferry and avoid it at all costs. I can't say enough. You do this all day, every day with these continuously running ferries. There should be nothing that you have not seen before. You should not have lines all the way down from the port all the way down to the main road. And if you ever seen the Port of Mucus, that's a pretty long road. There's no reason for that. But I see the reason for it, because every time we use that ferry, we run into an issue, some kind of problem. One time, one of the first times we traveled with using that ferry, we were coming back. We were waiting to load on the ferry leaving Mucus, and they couldn't park the ferry that was inbound, and it took them an hour to figure out that, hey, they're having problems with this ferry. And I think one of the rudder controls or something was out, so it took him over an hour to, he was just running around in circles right off of the pier waiting for a replacement ferry. I think they took that one, they ended up taking that one back to Ozamas while they got another ferry running. So I would have hated to have been on that ferry waiting an hour and a half to unload at the port. Because we had that same issue this time, but it was about where the ferry was unloading at, the position that it was unloading at. How in the world did you not know that the position you loaded at, you couldn't get buses on? I don't get it. And you do that day in, day out, every day. Maybe these people know that bridge is opening and they don't care. They know the business that they're going to lose as soon as that bridge opens. So maybe they're finding jobs now where they have the experienced people are leaving. I don't know what the problem is, but fix it. No. Like I said, every time we use that ferry in the 7 months that we've been here, we've had problems, either crossing one way or the other. So I don't know. I don't know what the fix is. I think one of the problems is the ferries themselves. They're so old and rusted, and they're having mechanical issues and all that other stuff, and they're not sinking any money into it. Why would you? That ferry's dead as soon as that bridge opens. I mean, dead. With good reason. Maybe it'll be better they'll still try to use it after the bridge opens, but I can't see why. So anyway, that's a wrap up of our trip. Yeah, we'll do it again as soon as that bridge opens, or maybe we'll go over to somewhere else. We've done the CDO, we've done Iligan City, we've done Siquijor, which much more to see. So we'll certainly do that. Like I said, we only went to one beach, or 2 beaches, one marine sanctuary. And it'd be nice to see on a clear day, because the water was a little little murky from the weather. It had rained, so there's water wasn't. I don't think the water was as clear, crystal clear as it should have been or could have been, as it usually is. So, but it was still good. Still good for us to get out, do the snorkeling, get some photos, show everybody here what we ran across. I had like I said, a really good trip. That's about it. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy. Later. Jack out.